first place, but the gap will close pretty significantly. But still, a win here for Stay Green, that would mean they would get second place and be even that much closer to TDM. So still 5 more cycles ultimately to go, so still plenty of HoN to go for all these teams. But just something to keep in mind as far as how things could shape up here as a result of what's going to go on. So apparently, Q Squad is ready to go. Now we're just waiting on Stay Green here, it looks like.
Yeah,
figuring something out then.
A couple more players to ready up there, but
ready up and then good to go and move on here. So
taking a bathroom break, as it was a pretty well, 2 games back to back that went pretty long.
Yeah, understandable there definitely, if that is the case. So again, it is great to see this. You know, we kind of stressed this as we're going into this really today, even how it was going to turn out to be matchups that. No matter what was going to be a different Grand Finals matchup, but especially 2 teams being different. Pretty awesome that you know what we've seen in the past for the first 2 cycles, at least, of course, being TDM and Complexity. And again, we just ultimately think it's nothing against those teams. It's just it is good for the scene to just see different teams and other guys getting in there and giving it their shots. So.
If anything, I think it gives hope to other teams as well outside of this, thinking, oh well, if they can do it and they weren't nearly as strong as Complexity and TDM at one point. Well, there's definitely at that point now, and well, there we go. All the teams are ready, so we're ready for game 3/4.
3-4, whatever. It's a 2-1 series lead for Q Squad, and again in the best out of 5. So there you go. That's I think the best way to explain it. But all right, we are loading in though. So ladies and gentlemen, I think it is time. We got our next game going to be coming up here. Could this be the final game? Will be if Q Squad wins, or will we see another game after this one? If Stay Green wins, let's take a look. Let's jump in. Stay Green taking on Q Squad, the Diamond Division Grand Final Cycle number 3. All right, this time, again, switching it back up here. We got Stay Green on the Legion side, and, of course, Q Squad on the Hellborn side. I just wanted to clarify real quickly. It is a US East server, so no complaining going to go on here. So, blind bands. Look at that, actually. A little bit interesting. Draconis Moon Queen. Blind banded by Stay Green. Engineer Wild Soul coming out here from Q Squad. So very different route actually with the blind bands.
Yep. And Fade is actually first up, locked by Swindle Melons. Now there is Ophelia available. There's Parasite available. There's Keeper available. There's a lot of great things still available. And I think there's a lot of heroes that are being played and a lot of different options. And I think that's good. We're not seeing necessarily the same things every single time. But, we just saw last game with Bombardier now getting picked up as the result of being the first time unbanned since we've seen QsQ today, after the great performances that Style has had yesterday, and of course today in this last game. Like I said, that was the most impressive play I've seen from Style yet ever, and it was just very fun to watch.
Yeah, again, I go back to his start wasn't the best, but he did eventually pick it up, and it got very impressive to watch for sure. So I do wonder, how Stay Green is going to gauge that. And obviously, it could still technically be locked up here by Q Squad, but it isn't in the end. Now, will we see him banned here in this phase? Will Stay Green value that high enough as a ban, as they did the first game of the series even? So, but overall, that lockbow, man, look at that. You got Fade followed by Keeper of the Force Silhouette, Moraxis Pebbles, and then Tempest actually to finish things off. So, man, all 6 of those heroes, very, very strong heroes, of course. Going to be interesting to see how kind of the combination works. Another thing to note is Q Squad, actually, they're the ones to lock that Keeper of the Forest. Almost as if to say, go ahead and pick him up, Stay Green, with your first pick. We'll be fine with a couple of other heroes from this pool, so interesting there.
Banning phase has begun. Zephyr to start off. Parasite actually banned out by Nova. Now, there is that Keeper lock, of course, in that pool, and there's Ophelia available. Also, other junglers that we haven't seen that much of recently that we see SG pick up actually quite frequently is Warbeast and Legionnaire, so another thing to think about right there.
Yeah, definitely still possible. Plague Rider going to be the next ban from Swindle Melons. And back over to Nova here for what would be the 4th overall ban. His 2nd, of course. Ophelia, sure enough, is going to be banned there. He just brought up, so no Ophelia. Will this be Bombardier from Swindle Melons? Does he, are they that scared of it again? Or will it be something else? That's the big question for me here.
We haven't seen Dark Lady for so long.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because that hero is still so damn good.
She's following the Mage Bane route, man. Mage Bane died off randomly, and now Dark Lady's like, I'm just going to kind of go away now for a little bit. You're right. I don't know where she went.
Yeah, well, she went when teams started to dual lane mid so much, and they'd rather have a solo in their short lane beat a suicide rather than contest him and kind of have the chance to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you can still CS very easily, and you hold your own 1v1 against Darkly, but obviously she's not the strongest solo hero. And I think that's the main reason why. That's why we see Wretched Hag picked up so often. Speaking of, does get the final ban from Nova.
Yeah,
and that's why we
point.
see, Draconis and Silhouette and heroes like that picked up a lot more.
Aluna going to be first picked fairly quickly by Swindamelons here, but guess what? Bombardier was not banned. It was Bubbles that final ban for Stay Green. So yeah, Bombardier potential once again here for Q Squad. Again, excited to see perhaps Style get that. I don't know why. He really is just an entertaining hero, fun hero to watch in my mind. And it's just newer, of course. So just the potential to see newer heroes like that is always fun. So Nova also did kind of when I brought up the whole Voodoo Jester changes. Obviously, he felt that they were pretty impactful and pretty big deal. So I do wonder. Now the 3 games, or I guess no, even 4 games we've casted over the last couple of days of Q Squad, they haven't actually picked up Voodoo Jester. So maybe this is the game for Nova. Hey, there you go. Pharaoh Voodoo Jester. Sure enough, it's like he's listening in.
It is.
Going to be picked up here.
It's like
from
you're
Q-Squad,
psychic.
so.
It's like you're in their Skype call. Someone check this guy out.
Ralph, let's not look too much into this, all right? But again, as he was bringing up too, and as I reiterated, I mean, the Acid Cocktail now being able to be useful against especially the tree and so whatnot, more useful, I should say, especially for Q with the Forest and minions like that. It has a pretty solid counter pushing effectiveness. So
it still doesn't do it for me. Like picking up Voodoo Jester, thinking, oh yeah, he can counter push, is like not the right way to go about it, in my opinion.
Well, yeah,
you should be picking up Voodoo Jester to be like, I know what you're saying, but I think it's, I don't know. I still don't think that's really that impactful of a buff. I think the bigger buff was the little buff to intelligence if anything.
22 to 24, I believe it was.
I mean, it's small, but it does make a difference early on. And Voodoo Jester, he does actually, one of his faults, or one of the things about him that's difficult to run him is his spells do cost a lot of mana to cast.
Yeah.
And you do need to cast all of them to be really successful in an engagement. So
true. In the end, I mean, Nova, the fact that he was picking up this hero so often before that buff, I think it just really goes to show you that, yeah, of course, why not continue to do it now especially, so. Anyways, back up to Stay Green, using a lot of extra time here, and right there, wow, Andromeda Soul Stealer, and Trouf, you meant, I think it was yesterday,
you're right.
2 underrated heroes right now on the scene, Andromeda and Soul Stealer, both picked up here by Stay Green.
Yeah, you're totally right. I did mention those exact heroes. And I do love them.
Yeah.
And the Andromeda swap is also going to be good for Pharaoh. I mean, that's one of the longest, one of the biggest counters we've seen in the history of HoN is Andromeda being able to swap people out of the Pharaoh hook.
Yeah.
And Pharaoh Mummy Wall. So that'll be good for them.
See,
we see a right click on Magebane, actually. That'd be kind of fun to see. Now, I love Soul Stealer. I think he's very effective. The thing is, though, even though you have that swap, I feel like Pharaoh might be just a little bit too aggressive for him. Because obviously, until you get that Shrunken Head, Soul Stealer's pretty susceptible to Pharaoh ganks. So wondering to see how they finish up and round out their lineup, I should say.
See, I listen, Trouf. I listen. Yeah, you mentioned the Magebane right click. Nope, going to be Torture instead, though. So switching it up here for Q Squad as far as who they go with in the end. So as far as the possibilities now for them, there you go. Keeper of the Forest actually snap pick from the lock pool. Again, Swindamelons knew pretty much that from the beginning. Now, what do you got for Q Squad here? I mean, you figure something to pair up with the Voodoo Jester mid, and so something like a Silhouette Pebbles here, Silhouette Fade. Definitely a possibility.
QsQ needs to spot out right now that Keeper of the Forest is most likely going in the suicide lane, because you have both Andromeda and Aluna present. So we're probably going to see something like Andromeda Soul Stealer in the short lane, and then Aluna plus like Pebbles or Miraxis mid. Or even Fade. Any of those would really work. But the idea is still there that you're going to have the Soul Stealer in the short lane. So you might want to think about manning up with that Pharaoh. And they have done that many times in the past with some kind of tri-lane.
Yeah.
With Pharaoh in the long lane against that Soul Stealer. They're going to go Tempest, actually.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't. For some reason, I just kind of forgot. There's a glare on my screen. I forgot Tempest was in the lock pool. So actually, that makes sense to me as to them finishing things off right there. Yeah. So I'm probably not going to see that kind of man up here, as you were kind of putting out. More than likely going to be, something like your Silhouette, and then, will it be a Silhouette middle with Voodoo Jester? You think, or
I don't
top?
Something tells me we might see some kind of funky lane of Torture of Voodoo mid and Silhouette in the short lane against Keeper of the Forest. I don't know. Like, I would have said they could man up before on the long lane with Pharaoh, and they still could. They might do something like a Voodoo Pharaoh. that might work out. And then solo Torture, solo Silhouette with a jungling Tempest. The only thing is if you get response from a Luna, then you're going to have a tri-lane versus a dual lane, which I don't know how effective that's going to be. So, yeah, I'm very curious to see how QsQ does lane this. We've seen Silhouette go mid in the past with Nox, and we might see like a Voodoo Jester Silhouette mid, Torture to solo up against the Keeper. So, yeah, I'm very curious as to how the laning is going to be performed here.
You know, this series, and really, this weekend especially, we really have been getting a lot of diversity, I must say. When it comes to lanes, when it comes to setups and teams, the hero picks even, it really just has been a fun weekend, and maybe that is a sign of things to come. That is good news. So, Hellborn team, going to throw it a pause here to get things kicked off, though. Again, I did clear it is a US East server, so we don't have to deal with drama from that, but... pausing.
But we have had to deal with the pause every single game.
Yeah.
At the start.
I mean, I understand it, but at the same time, it's like, really? We have to pause every single game, guys? Is there ever a game where we just don't pause in the beginning? Anyways, look at us just whining over here. Keeper of the Forest does get the boots first with the ward aside, so trying to get up there is KzU as soon as possible here. Sure enough, he's going to be playing that Suicide most likely, as you were talking about. So yeah. How is SG going to do this?
Sorry?
How is SG going to do this?
Yeah, Keeper top, a Luna Fade mid, and Andromeda Soulstealer bottom.
Okay.
Or it could start out with 3 bottom to just baby that Soulstealer, give him a bit of an edge, and then move towards mid with a Luna.
All right. We will see. So obviously QsQ again up 2-1 here. Go ahead.
And also, I can't remember what else was in that lockpick pool. I know there's that Pebbles, as well as a Fade and Moraxis. And I feel like maybe they were kind of forced to go the Tempest, but now that I think about it, they weren't really forced because they could have done like 2 different dual lanes with like support Torture and support Voodoo with like Moraxis or Pebbles or something. But the way I see this too is, you know, they have 2 fantastic counters to that Tempest ultimate. Not to mention a great counter to the Pharaoh Hook as well in Andromeda. And Andromeda is such a great counter to Tempest. It's probably the easiest counter you can get.
Yeah. Oh, we'll see. That coming to play most likely. Yeah, Tempest, to say the least, Malee's ultimate game at least isn't going to be the easiest. This here, what is this game? I'm just going to keep calling it this game because it's just so weird calling it Game 3 when really it's 2-1. Anyways, so yeah, 2-1 series lead for QsQ again. They win this, they win it all. If State Green wins this, we will be going to another game, which will then be the final game. So just reiterate that. All right, it looks like we are good to go here, as Nova says to go. So Slicks will go ahead and oblige with the unpause. So yeah, it is setting up, and you know, as we're talking about, how should we expect to see these lanes here? Well, they're from both sides. Both Fade and Soulstealer are actually currently heading towards bottom, but more than likely, of course, just here to protect the ward placement. Voodoo Jester is running down there as fast as possible, but it's going to be close. I don't think he's going to get there fast enough, something tells me. And Fade may be enough of a threat. I don't know, actually. It looks like Voodoo Jester, actually Nova, may be able to get in here with the ward aside. Not going a direct path. Yeah, this could hurt him. Ooh, he's going aggressive ward even, maybe, in the land. Okay, wow, he's going to place it in front of the camp, so he'll be fine. It ends up working out pretty well.
We're going to see a solo mid Pharaoh, actually, and a solo short Torture, and then actually manning up with dual range Voodoo Silhouette bottom against this Soulstealer. And I think this is okay. Like I mentioned, though, once they understand the lanes, SG that is, I can't imagine them not send tri-lane bottom to support this Soulstealer. Then they'd have Aluna and Andromeda helping out the Soulstealer. Not to mention that's triple range. Of course, Andromeda isn't exactly the highest range, but has a fantastic point stun.
Yeah. You do see Voodoo Jester roaming all the way back to the top lane, actually. Of course, he still has a ward aside, so what if he's just maybe even running up here to place it and then going to go elsewhere, but okay, he's going to place it way up here for the top rune, and now we'll see where Nova actually goes here when it's all said and done.
Maybe he'll start out mid to give him the illusion that they're dual laning mid, and then help out bottom. I don't know, but
he just ran all over the place.
Yeah. Nope, he's going bottom.
All right, so it will end up being that, as they were talking about. So it's just kind of funny. He literally ran all the way nearly up to the top lane and then back to the bottom lane, but he's going to eventually be here. So Silhouette for the first couple of seconds will be by herself, but it is Andromeda Soulstealer as kind of expected. And again, Andromeda, not necessarily the greatest harasser in the sense his range is pretty weak. Only, 400 range here, so might not be the most effective there. And it is going to be dual range versus dual range in the end, though, with this matchup. So we'll see how it plays out. Z-Freak continuing to at least show himself a little bit right there. But not going to go in by any means, so. This bottom lane, it is very unique, man. Who would have thought? Voodoo Jester Silhouette versus Soul Stealer Andromeda. That's what it is, though.
Soul Stealer missed all of those creep kills, by the way.
Ooh.
He does. He has 1 deny now. Okay, now he's getting a couple more, but that's a big deal. And yet, what do you know? There's the aggression coming out. This is a full blown-out tri-lane now. Like I mentioned, right when they understand the lanes, you're going to expect to see that aggression coming out from SG. And it's basically going to be a gimped Silhouette and a gimped Voodoo Jester. But they have got the lane back thanks to the deny effect from Tempest. So if they're able to keep, the time of Aluna spent down here, she's not going to get any farm. So
Pharaoh is rotating, it looks like.
Pharaoh's rotating bottom. We're going to see. Yeah, see, this is what I thought they were going to do initially. I thought they were going to start out with the Pharaoh dual lane bottom and just have Silhouette mid, especially with the items that Silhouette has. So, yeah.
Apparently he's trying to tell the other team that one of their players has DC'd, I believe, but no, that's a Nova, I believe. But no, he is fine, apparently. Actually, speaking of Nova, he's going to take a common summer here. Power throw coming out, and actually the acid cocktail isn't going to be enough to survive the bouncing back and forth. There's a health potion running uphill, and it might just be enough. Comet Stun is up, but it's just not going to be in range, and the power throw will cancel what was left of the health potion. But Nova barely stays alive, so that was big for him. The rune did end up spawning top, I believe. And it was picked up by Tempest, actually. Now has a double damage rune, so.
That's good for him.
Yeah. Good getaway from Nova coming out there, though.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Even if they're suffering bottom lane, and Pharaoh can't get much now after the transition. Now there is going to be this dual lane mid versus dual lane mid. Dual range. But the thing is we see some initiation onto Fade. Look at the damage coming out. Great cocktail stun, though, coming out from Voodoo Jester as he escapes death once again.
But a level 4 Fade is what you're kind of saying right there.
Exactly.
I mean, a level 4 Fade versus a level 1 Voodoo Jester, and right off the bat, you see the pressure that they're able to apply. I mean, that very close to a kill, but hey, RNG, nothing wrong with that. The acid cocktail doing work right there. But yeah, Voodoo Jester, he'll even be forced to use a health pusher from Silhouette right there, kind of sharing the wealth. But it seems like, it was a little bit too late here, and Fade has already taken advantage, being played by Swindle Mountains. Of course, he is now 16-9, 17-9 here. As far as his creep farm goes, Silhouette 12-2, so definitely winning there. Andromeda going to continue to do what she can to apply pressure to this Pharaoh, but for the most part, we talked about earlier, I mean, Slicks was missing a couple of creep kills, and his creep farm continues to be not the most impressive. I mean, it's only 11-5 currently, so
yeah,
we'll keep an eye on that for Slicks to see how that progresses here. But
Pharaoh has boots now. He's actually level 4 too, so it's going to be very, very difficult for this composition to actually net a kill onto Pharaoh. And at the same time, he actually might be able to get a kill onto Andromeda.
Oh, wow.
He does have his wall, by the way. Remember last time? We see some action here in mid. There's the cocktail stun as well as the cursed ground. And they might actually maybe be able to net a kill. No, it's only level 1, so it's not going to do that much damage. But good response there coming out. And this lane has already, done pretty well in the mid as a result of the change that QsQ has made. They need to camp these next runes. They have 2 people moving up top. Silhouette moving bottom. It is bottom. Here comes Andromeda. She might get quartered in, though, if she doesn't move. Yeah, she does actually move towards the left, so good decision right there from Z-Freak. Yeah,
in the end, Nova will just pick up the Illusion Rune and head back towards the middle lane. But I think this ultimately goes back to, again, that missed kill onto Nova. How impactful that actually is being here in the middle lane. Now, actually, Andromeda running into Pharaoh once again. The Hellfire's applied. There's the Mummy Walls blocking him in. He will throw the Comet Stun to delay it a little bit, of course, but now Pharaoh going to chase. He does have a Tormented Soul up. Just a matter of will it be enough damage when it's all said and done. Andromeda getting low. One more auto tech, maybe. No, not going to be low enough. And now Pharaoh is in trouble indeed. Fade is coming in for the support. He actually throws out a Tormented Soul to cancel the health potion, I believe, but now Pharaoh on the run. Burning Shadows will connect, and unless he gets support, it doesn't look like it. Now, he is pretty damn tanky here. So that could be the saving grace, actually. He's going to health pot right there. And actually, Jonasum fan may end up surviving. Power Throw will connect, but still going to be survived. In comes the Acid Cocktail. The Burning Shadows connects, but now Faye may be in trouble. No, the Cursor Ground going to be completely missed right there. And when it's all said and done, still no Bloodlust kill between Stay Green and Q Squad.
All of this is favoring QsQ, because you have a jungler on QsQ and Male on that Tempest who's farming away while all the supports are responding to these possible kills that they could have on Pharaoh or whatnot. Yeah. And Voodoo Jester saving life again, the 3rd time in a row now, as he has a great, timely Acid Cocktail stun. This time not for himself, but for his buddy and Pharaoh. So, like I said, all of these little exchanges are in favor of QsQ. Top lane, I want to check out some CS between Torture and Keeper, because this is kind of an awkward lane, because Keeper obviously is very difficult to take down. Can last hit basically everything with that hatchet, and their CS is pretty much identical, 28-4 compared to 31-2 on Keeper.
Yeah, so keeper even slightly ahead there. So QsQ seems like he's doing a pretty good job up here at the top lane. Obviously playing the keeper the force, but the ring of teacher especially. Yeah, the harassment is minimal from Torture, especially as a result of that. So, but again, the missed bloodless kill onto Voodoo Jester as soon as that adjustment was made, I really think it's playing a huge impact here in this game. Acid Cocktail will barely hit Fade, but she did pick up the haste rune right before she bottled it up for that matter. And gonna try to set up a gank, but clearly Pharaoh knows what's up, and he will play very, very passive now as a result. But then also the earlier boots on Pharaoh, definitely helping to keep him alive in that situation that was in the jungle. Here we have in the top lane. Dust is picked up by Tempest. He's going to use it right there. Out comes our root. Are we going to see Tempest ultimate? Maybe. No, we're not. Yeah, you saw the animation being canceled right there. He thought about it, but just not able to do it good enough, and decides to save it as a result. They are going to push this tower, however. Impalement is level 4. This tower could drop very quickly now.
Oh, it is level 4.
Support coming in, so.
I actually saw, yeah, and they see them running over there as Voodoo's kind of making his way. He places another ward aside up there, and the haste rune up on Fade. So good job mitigating that gank, and I think a good decision overall by Tempest. They also knew that the haste rune was up on the Fade, so she can be up there very soon. And it's hard to take down a keeper of the forest who's at basically full HP and still had low mana. But I saw him initially going for just the chain reaction and agonizing bonds. Really, we see some action here onto Pharaoh, but Soulstealer is really nowhere in the area. He's just kind of farming in the back lane. And Pharaoh will be fine for now.
Yeah, so Soulstealer, let's take a look at Slick's farm, how it's kind of, again, not the best of starts, but now he's at 300 gold per minute. He actually happens to be the top in the game here. And he actually just finished his Steam Boots off to the side, also has a Mystic Vestments and even a Mana Battery on top of that. So build-up items are already in the works here for Slick, so it seems like overall not having a bad game by any means, and QsQ continuing to do fairly well here in this suicide role, really. Playing that Keeper of the Forest, remember. So, but here we go once again. Tempest is going to group up with Torture. Again, the Impalement is level 4, and there we go. It is activated. So now a lot of damage is going to start coming out, and vulnerability used quickly. No port-ins just yet, and there is no creep wave for anymore, so that will stall it yet again, but they will not have invulnerability next time. So we'll see if maybe they get the support, or if this tower is going to fall in the end here.
I like how they're playing this passively, though. They're not overcommitting to anything. You have TPs on Andromeda, Luna, and actually there's the Dust yet again. I don't know about this dive, though. They should know that one port's coming in. Here comes the ultimate, though. It's going to hit 2 on top of the port onto a Luna, but I don't know if this is going to favor Tempest. He's going to be in a little world of hurt. The ultimate was already used from Keeper of the Force, of course. No, it just came up. It just came up. He used it some time ago. There's the Bloodlust coming out from Slicks. He actually gets a double kill as a result of porting. And I talk all the time about Slicks being one of those carry players in the short lane that still is actively porting around, and it paid off big time right now.
Talk about a massive turnaround. The biggest mistake that I saw throughout all of that, I mean, it was a good idea, but ultimately you're going against a Keeper of the Forest who is so tanky. Yeah. He had the Nature's Veil on, which is level 4. He has a Ring of the Teacher. And Aluna's the one that ported in. She just took no damage, basically, other than a little bit of AoE damage from the Impalement and whatnot. If they were focusing her as soon as she ported in, maybe that would have been a kill into her. But even so, it was just you just got finished talking about how you liked how passive they were playing. And sure enough, a second later, they're diving in, going all crazy. And they give up not only the Bloodless kill, but a double tap to Soulstealer. And ultimately, as a result of that, they lose their own top tower. So just like that, Soulstealer all of a sudden has 453 gold per minute. Meanwhile, at the bottom lane, Fade in a little bit of trouble. In comes Andromeda Nova in action. Now, Pharaoh's the one that needs to run. Fade may open right here with the Burning Shadows at least. Never mind, Sonamelon's not feeling it right now. Actually may go for Silhouette instead. There's the opening with the auto attack. A great Burning Shadow stun right there. It somehow hits all 3 heroes and gets a kill. Very good patience there from Swindle.
Yeah, he actually got that, and that was good. Not to mention, they got the tower deny as well. Z-Freak was able to deny that tower. I thought for a second that they were just going to pursue and kind of neglect that the siege unit was hitting the tower right there, but they got the deny on top of that. So big early start coming out from Stay Green.
I mean, I just got finished saying how, okay, so Soulstealer recovering about 300 gold per minute. A couple minutes later, it seems like 470 gold per minute. Again, I know this hero farms like a boss and everything, but
well, and he still has triple stack or stacks to work with. Triple stack on his hard camp, double stack right to the right of it, a double stack below that with Wild Hunters though, and he's going to have this very early Shrunken Head. And I mentioned until he gets that Shrunken Head, he's pretty susceptible to ganks from like Pharaoh specifically, but he's going to have a Shrunken Head in like a matter of 2-3 minutes. So he doesn't have to worry about anything once he gets that, basically.
That is intense. So things are really coming together very well here for Stay Green. As far as the other side of the spectrum, definitely fallen off a little bit. Well, that's seeming pretty good news for QsQ earlier on. Definitely fallen off. I mean, you got Nox on the Silhouette. He's farming only with around 270 gold per minute now. He does have Steam Boots and a bottle picked up, as well as a Mystic Vestment. So he is he has his build-up items, really. But you see right here, you mentioned this, the stacks that are coming out. Soulstealer now getting some assistance from Andromeda even. And nearing what looks to be even 500 gold per minute. So yeah, really another minute or two, he will have that shrunken head already, which is just absurd to think of with Steam Boots and even a Mystic Vestments on top of that. So good news for our Legion side. Power supply just finished by Pharaoh, so he's got that at least. But again, they're kind of just all in their own lanes. I mean, Pharaoh's pushing up this bottom lane pretty far, honestly, by himself. No towers even there. And right as I say that, he actually does start falling back. But yeah, that was a little bit risky on his part. I mean, he's somewhat tanky, but still only can be tanky enough. So already QsQ kind of finding themselves in really an odd spot here earlier on.
Yeah.
As far as what to do exactly.
Well, it's just Soulstealer has so much farm now, and he is a hero that really... Oh, actually, we might see aggression onto Pharaoh right here. Andromeda's looking about maybe trying to set something up, but you really have to hit every single demon hand to get that. And it's kind of awkward when if you get the wall off from Pharaoh. The rune does spawn at his top. It's going to get contested actually by... oh, it's actually picked up by Fade, and it's a double damage. Voodoo Jester was there to try to stop it, but the Burning Shadow stops him in his tracks.
Yeah, ain't gonna happen. But still, at least Voodoo Jester stays alive. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, a big dive on Luna right here. Wrath of the Verb comes in, they get the tower kill, and they may pick up a hero kill when it's all said and done as well. So good job right there. Skyzo falls. Fade is running in with that double damage rune now. There is a lot of Hellborn heroes nearby, but will Swindlemelons go for the all-in here? There's a Revelation nearby as well, but he goes for Jonathan Francis screwed up and open right. A great tree grapple coming out from Noxo, finishing off Andromeda, enjoying Soulstealer. He doesn't have enough mana for his ultimate, I believe, and actually now he's being locked down. Torture sitting on top of the impalement, and down goes Soulstealer. Excellent team fight for QsQ right there. Tempest actually trying to find an ultimate placement. He's going to be burning shadowed. Will he maybe open right here? Keeper of the Forest is invis nearby, so needs to be careful about that. And actually, Keeper of the Forest is now falling back. Silhouette going a little bit further, cleaning up some creep kills. That was beautiful for QsQ there.
Really well played by Nox there, that entire little sequence. And having he knew that they were turning it onto Pharaoh. He saw the follow-up coming in Andromeda, went for the tree grapple onto him instead, and bursted into them really fast. And I gotta say, had the Cursed Ground actually hit from Voodoo Jester onto Fade, he would have died as well. Unfortunately, just missed by a little bit, but very, very good turnaround. We have now a push tablet onto Torture as well. And that blink coming up from Tempest, if that's what he decides to go for, I see no reason why not. Actually, the Shrunken Head was purchased, though, before he died for Soulstealer, so that's really, really good for him.
Yeah, of course. So Slick's at least going to be somewhat happy with that. And on top of that, remember, that especially a hero like Soulstealer, he really is one that takes advantage of leveling up that ultimate. So he does have a level 2 ultimate here, what's called the Soul Burst ability. Of course, coming off the death, now there was that buff to him in a sense that a little bit while back now, but it used to be you get the half amount of souls as a result of death, but now I think it's 66%, I want to say, so basically 2/3. So instead of what would have been 15, he got 20 souls when he resurrected. Kind of just a side thing right there, but something to think about. Anyways, he's back up to 26 souls, and I'm sure by the time he would even use the ultimate, we'll be at 30. Fade in the meantime, going to jump Silhouette all by herself. She's doing some stacks here in the jungle. She was just saying, leave me by my lonesome. Luna actually snipes out the creeps right there in the meantime as well. So assisting, actually getting some farm out of that. Torture tableting forward, hits the chain reactions, the impalement and the ultimate doing a lot of damage. Andromeda will barely live, however. And now they need to be careful of a turnaround even if you're QsQ, so starting to fall back. Good attempt, but no cigar, unfortunately. Ooh, Fade running into Pharaoh. That is a real Fade, by the way, and she's going to be caught on the Mummy while Hellfire is activated. Where's the follow-up? Great Burning Shadow Stun that also hits Voodoo Jester in the background. And that could be the saving grace, but actually, they get the kill to Zephyr right there, playing that Andromeda. Nice talent by Torture. He avoids the Keeper of the Forest root on top of it all, despite Keeper porting in with his new, freshly purchased portal key.
Wow.
Excellent escape from style right there.
Real, like I mentioned, man, he is playing. Oh, actually, Fade, he comes back around onto Male and gets the kill onto him, so able to rectify a little bit of a problem there that happened. But yeah, before that point, very well played by Style, jumping over the cliff with that push tablet, getting the full effect out of that, and as a result, kind of making that Keeper of the Forest ultimate useless.
Yeah. Obviously, we saw QsQ has a portal key. Again, he is continuing to do very, very good when it comes to farming this game. In fact, the second best farmer in the game behind his teammate Soulstealer at 345 gold per minute, but missing that ultimate right there. Again, just big plays indeed. Well, at least on a Torture. He did land it a couple others, but still. Anyways, speaking back of Soul Stealer, of course, so he's been sitting on that Shrunken Head now, has another 1,000 gold saved up. We'll see where he goes from here now, perhaps that porta key himself. He also talked about the idea of a possible porta key on Tempest, but no, he actually, after the death right there, he had just over 2,000 gold saved up, but instead he actually just decides to finish off Steam Boots, buy Mystic Vestments, and a Homecoming Stone on top of that. So I wonder if that death kind of just changed his mind a little bit right there.
Could have been, yeah.
But changing it up.
I mean, he could still go for, I mean, like I said at the beginning of this game, this is going to be a very difficult Tempest game. You have a lot of things going against you, not to mention, okay, you have the Andromeda swap, you have the ultimate from Cube of the Forest, but on top of that, Fade being able to run behind you and initiate on you before a fight happens with that Clear Vision ultimate is a very, very difficult thing to play against as a Tempest as well. So he has a lot of things going up against him. I think maybe the smartest route perhaps is to go for more early teamfight items, things like Astrolabe, things like that, Astrolabe, Push, Book, what have you. And maybe a first item Shrunken Head after that. First item Shrunken Head. I mean Shrunken Head before the portal key. But yeah, we have Slicks. He's getting close to that portal key himself, and I feel like he really needs it. He's a little bit clunky right now. Can't really move around. Has very, very little mobility, and to initiate these team fights too. After like a Cube of the Forest ultimate.
Yeah, of course. Where obviously the synergy's definitely there, being able to capitalize though with an item like portal key was definitely makes sense. So Pharaoh and Cube of the Forest kind of going at it here at the top lane. Obviously neither one can really kill each other necessarily, but just having a good time. Back to more stacks. You really got to give credit. I don't know who exactly has been doing this, whether it's been really Z-Freak or Skyzo, but
I think it's been both.
So teamwork, there you go. Teamwork coming out from State Green, and it is showing. I mean, really, Slicks is just mass Demon Hand nuking these creeps here in the jungle that have been constantly stacked up. You stressed that earlier, and it is showing. I mean, he's nearing 500 gold per minute. Now, without these, he wouldn't be anywhere close, I guarantee that. So,
yeah.
500 gold per minute. He does, by all means, have enough for that portal key they were kind of talking about with 2,600 gold saved up, but not purchasing anything just yet. So, we'll see if maybe going to think about it or maybe saving up for something else here as far as that money being saved up for Soul Stealer. So,
yeah, he's getting pretty huge. Fade pulled up a lot of money herself, and actually I think is going to go for a first item tablet before anything else, namely just because to get people out of that Pharaoh wall as well as like the stun from Torture or what have you.
Swindle Melons is not European.
I think it's probably fine in this instance, especially against Pharaoh.
Yeah, so that's actually a good point. I mean, even Tempest for helping teammates, yeah. Still definitely a very solid pickup. So, what did I just notice? Oh, yeah, so Portal Key was actually just purchased by Soul Stealer. So he ends up pulling up a decent amount of gold, but he still just goes the Portal Key route. So has that now. We'll see if the Legion team perhaps can take advantage of that in the near future. More farm we go, and I got to think, you know, obviously Soul Stealer, that'll be continues to be great for him, but you are still also buying a lot of time for the Silhouette to recover quite a bit, and it has recovered, or she, well, Nox has recovered, 350 gold per minute, 360 gold per minute even himself. Nice mummy wall right there, blocking out Fade, who is charging in, and actually is going to be counted. The Revelation spotted him. In comes the Kibaru hitting 4 heroes. It looks like there's Soul Stealer with a Soul Burst right on top of Pharaoh. He just melts like it's nothing right there. Voodoo Jester also picked off, and now Torture and Silhouette are completely on the run. You do have Tempest nearby. He wants to try to make something happen here for sure, but is he going to be able to? Probably not. In fact, Soul Stealer jumping in an excellent team in hand. Can he land the third or the second one? Yes, he can. Great placement by Slicks right there. And a hat trick coming out indeed for Slicks. In the meantime, Cole coming out for Fade in the background. Silhouette now being locked down somewhat. She needs to be careful. Tempest again still nearby. But a swap from Andromeda, and Silhouette now not going to be coming. But there's a Tempest ultimate, but zero follow-up. If anything, that's to save Silhouette. And it may just accomplish that. Of course, Tempest will fall. So that's exactly what that was for. Still, I mean, a Tempest ultimate was used. Stay Green dominates that fight.
Slicks is just too big, man. He is just massive right now. The ultimate basically one-shot Pharaoh.
Yeah.
His Demon Hand's connected on everybody during that entire exchange. And he's just so big at this point. It's going to be hard to take him down, not to mention he just picked up his Portal Key. Now has another 2,000 gold on top of that. Regen plus double damage spawns top. Did he pick up the regen?
Yes.
Yeah, he does actually have that bottled up. So, yeah, this is, I mean, like I said, just the bottom line is Slick has so much farm right now.
Yeah, Stay Green building up a lot of momentum here, especially after that fight. So we'll see if they're able to capitalize off of that. Now, Silhouette did stay alive when it's all said and done, so I know that's kind of a small victory there for QsQ, but nonetheless, she stayed alive. Yes, they had to use a lot, including that Tempest ultimate at the end. But again, she stayed alive. Her Null Stone is getting very close as a result of that. In fact, she needs to be a little bit careful right here. I guess it's just keep her the force for now. So, going to try to finish off, get that 1,000 gold, and pick up what will then be a Null Stone. And as always, will more than likely be useful for her in many cases, both for farm and, of course, destroying and whatnot. What did I just see purchased here on the... I think it was a Firebrand. I think it was a Firebrand with Soul Stealer is what I saw. I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, it was a Firebrand for Soul Stealer. So that's on the courier now. That's going to be delivered. So he just got finished talking about how just big Soul Stealer is currently. Well, he's even bigger now with that item. So, yeah, really got their work cut out for them here on Q Squad side. Portal Key still being in the works for Tempest. So again, he kind of went more of the build-up items initially instead. And he has another 1650 saved up. Ooh, Silhouette may still be in some trouble, in fact. You have Fate sitting right on top of her. She obviously has no clue. She is going to start running away, however, after killing the creeps, and I guess she should be fine in the end. So, could have been dangerous.
Yeah, it could have been bad. She does have her completed Nullstone on the courier flying out to her, so that's going to be good. But it's not going to really... Well, I guess it'll block several spells. It doesn't block anything from Fade. That's the only problem. You would think it would block maybe the Ultimate or a Burning Shadow stun. It doesn't. It doesn't block anything. It's going to block the stun and swap from Andromeda, and then the stun from Luna, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So obviously that's still very effective, but they're going to need a lot more because Soul Stealer is just way too big.
You see right here, in fact, not only is items, but he's also almost level 16. He's going to have a level 3 Soul Burst here in the near future. They group up, they push the middle tower, nothing that Q Squad could nor did they want to do there. Again, for good reason. I mean, you look at that, and then you look at a level 6 Voodoo Jester. Yeah. Just kind of just the comparison right there. Granted, you know, Luna's only level 7 on the Legion side, too, so not that crazy, I guess, but still.
Torturer is in some trouble right here.
Oh, wow, yeah, she is. She already used the tablet. Actually, there goes a swap from Zephyr. The Kama Sun on top, just to guarantee. And, yeah, he melted. Melted right there, so.
That's going to be 2 towers also. You have everything. You have all your big spells up from the Legion team. Soul Burst, keep the Forest Ultimate with that Blink. And that's going to be 2 towers. Could even be pressuring this the base tower as well. At least QsQ is able to get some kind of trade for that as they take the top tower, Nox soloing that down. But still, like I mentioned, the bottom line is just Slicks has so much farm. Their entire team is backing him up. And they're in a very, very good spot.
Yeah. What is that? Nearly 3,000 gold now saved up with Soul Stealer. Okay, there's the Portal Key on Tempest, so they got that to work with. But once again, it is going to be hell for Tempest to get off a very effective ultimate. Especially, I mean, even if he happens to now farm up a Shrunken Head, which again, it's at this, is that even necessary? You have a Keeper Root, you have an Andromeda swap still, even with that. So maybe you just go for more of a support style after this, but. Geometer's Bane finished on Soul Stealer. That is now being delivered to him, so we're only 23.5 minutes in. It could seem like it's a little bit later because of those items, but no. Only 23.5 minutes. Shrunken Head, Geometer's Bane, and Portal Key already picked up by Slicks. You do got Silhouette. I mean, Nox, again, he is not like he's doing bad by any means. Just in comparison, it has dwindled quite a bit, but 406 gold per minute, very respectable himself. And actually has another 2,000, 2,100 gold even saved up now. Yeah. Following up the Nullstone. So buying more and more time. I mean, it's as long as they still have their base, I guess, it's still good news. Buying more time for the Silhouette to eventually get farmed up. So
yeah, Torturer hasn't really been able to find any farm, though. He had a good start. A good evasion tactic there at the top lane to evade that Keeper the Forest Ultimate that one time with that freshly purchased push book, but has really farmed nothing after that, saving up 1,200. Portal Key actually picked up on Silhouette.
All right, so the build that you like to stress,
yeah.
Going the Portal Key. We'll see maybe even a Shieldbreaker on top of that. I mean, do you think Shieldbreaker still this game makes sense?
Yeah, I still do. I still think Shieldbreaker and the Savage Mace would both be great.
Okay. Wow.
I think definitely though Geometer's Bane needs to be picked up on him to have another way to get out of that Keeper the Forest route.
Reacting right there because Andromeda's actually farmed enough to even get a Tablet of Command in full right there. So
wow,
a lot of farm for her, and that's big. The fact that she can even swap in or even push herself forward to get a good swap off, and then or swap in and then push herself out is pretty damn cool. So, and then of course just the utility it brings as a whole. Shieldbreaker also now just purchased. I thought I saw Shieldbreaker at least. He also has a Helmet of Victor now. So actually, that makes no sense. That must have been
maybe he sold something.
Something, yeah. Maybe changed his mind. I don't know. Okay, well, I'm guessing he's working on a Whispering Helm because I did see a Shieldbreaker purchase, but changing his mind, going the Whispering Helm right to start with the lifesteal and the attack modifier there. So a little bit more of a safer route perhaps, but in the end, nothing wrong with that, of course. You want to force what would be now a final game if State Green is to win this game. And then that'll be, well, the one game to decide it all here for cycle number 3. So here we are. We got Soul Stealer applying a lot of pressure to this tower. It's going to easily fall. In fact, Farrell says this is the timing. He wants to jump in as soon as the tower falls. He's going to activate the Barbed Armor, the tablet out on the illusion, actually. I don't know if that was a Hellborn, I guess that was a Legion too, but anyways, there's more stuff going on in the background. Voodoo just already picked off Soul Stealer, the Soul Burst that will annihilate Torture right there. He melts as expected. Tempest still trying to find a spot here for his ultimate. He is going to be rid of. There's an ultimate. No, it's going to be canceled within a fraction of a second, though. Torture does buy back. Looking to make something happen. Chain reactions hitting Keep of the Force, but still, everyone important still alive here for the Legion team. The only death so far is on that Aluna, but the Hellborn team, they got numbers themselves and actually are going to get the Legion side to fall back in the end, it looks like.
Oh. The worst part, too, is the Tempest ultimate was used. Like, he doesn't have that available in 30 seconds when he respawns. Here's the blink onto Andromeda, the swap out, actually, right after that. And this is looking pretty grim early on in favor of SG.
Yeah, also
look at this GPM, 626.
Jeez. Slicks, man, Slicks. But no, what I was going to say there is I'm a little curious about the initiation choice. I mean, it seems like we see that from time to time where it's like, if you are going to initiate like that, it's fine, but why wait for the tower to actually fall and then initiate it?
Yeah,
it seems kind of silly to me. He like literally waited right after it fell, and he's like, okay, go now. He's like, why not take advantage of having a tower there, if anything, distracting them? So, but in the end, again, it really just goes back to, as you just pointed out there, Slicks is just way too big right now on the Soul Stealer. And obviously doing a lot that fight. I mean, he isn't even the most damaged, though, in the game, believe it or not. Fade is actually leading the way here at 18%. So Fade, Swindelmans is definitely doing a lot himself. He's 4-0-7, in fact, so even showing right there. 2,700 more gold saved up in him, actually. We'll see. Okay, he's going to go Portal Key as well as the Tablet of Command, so has extra mobility here now. Kongor going to try to be ninja'd here by Q Squad, although it was just spotted by an Aluna power throw.
Yeah.
Right as I say that, so never mind.
Yeah, good job for them spotting that out, but the window of opportunity is slowly closing in for QsQ. Like, it's really going to have to be a Miracle Ultimate from Tempest, but like I said, the one hero that has the most counters to him is that Tempest in this game, so it's really difficult. You have a Barbed Armor up on the Pharaoh, that's good, but doesn't exactly have the highest HP, so even though it will be good about reflecting damage, he's going to take so much more and die pretty fast. So.
Yeah. Yeah, so like the likelihood of getting maximum use out of that may even be pretty slim, but Slicks already another 2,500 gold saved up now. Actually, Silhouette is down here. She's going to jump in, but look at that. Soul Stealer it just like tickles him. He's just like, okay, that's cute. He's going to actually use a Minotaur. The Soul Burst. Ooh, he gets in a port out, and then he cancels it at the last second. So Slicks knew what was up. Of course, Silhouette wouldn't be that crazy. And eventually ports out. But you saw, I mean, that was a beautiful jump in from Silhouette, and maybe anyone else that would have nearly gotten a kill, but Soul Stealer was able to tank it fairly well. And
he's too big.
Yep.
632 GPM.
It's almost as if we've said that a lot.
Yeah, Andromeda is now level 11 as well. Resto Stone, the recipe at least is purchased. I don't know if he has the full thing. Probably does.
I think he does, yeah.
But now you have, like I said, Andromeda level 11. The two heroes that I mentioned that are very undervalued. I mean, I just love both of these heroes. I think they bring so much to the table. And look at Soul Stealer. And the thing is about Soul Stealer, even if you started out badly, Soul Stealer is also a hero that can recover very well. It didn't matter in this situation because he's 8-1-1 with by far the top farm in the game.
Yeah. Oh, of course. You know, like last time we saw him, you know, made the point. Clearly, he has. You can argue the best farming tool in the game with those Demon Hands. I mean, the fact that they do so much damage for minimal mana cost, only 80. Sure, not 75, but 80 mana. But the fact that you get 3 of them to use as well for just cleaning up these stacks. And, you know, we always get so caught up about, especially with Draconis being a newer hero and how insanely fast he can farm and whatnot. You kind of almost forget about Soul Stealer and what he can actually do. Now, granted, against Ancients, maybe not as effective, but still. Kind of just a comparison there.
Well, Soul Stealer can clean up Ancients really fast himself with the Demon Hands.
Yeah.
Very fast,
The Dragons can be a little bit of a bane.
Well, all it takes is, like, you just reset them. True. It takes three sets of them, I believe, to actually take out Dragons fully. But
okay.
I mean, that's at level 7. Like, at level 7 right away, you can take out Ancients. It's pretty effective.
Yeah.
And that's if, I mean, you can do that too, especially if even if you're gimped, because obviously you don't need any farm once you're level, like for a hero like
oh, yeah!
God.
That's all burst. Oh my God, Nox, you had no chance right there. Wrath of the Pharaoh actually disjoints the Kama stun right there. So that works out pretty well for Jonathan Pham, intended it or not. He is still in a lot of trouble, however, and he will be caught out. And actually a hat trick to finish it off for Slicks. I mean...
and KsQ timed out that whole time, by the way. He's in base.
They don't even care. Well, why should they? It's obviously doesn't matter. I mean... Yeah, I saw that setting up for a while right there. They didn't even realize. Yeah, someone was like, wait a second, he was DC'd. All right, so they did pause, but of course he just came back. But yeah, I saw it setting up. I mean, Fade opened, got Silhouette to half-life, and then the Soul Burst took care of the rest and more, I'm sure, the overkill. So pretty awesome right there. Honcast will explain. I'm not even sure what... oh, maybe he's talking about the burst damage.
I think maybe he's talking about KsQ being DC'd.
Oh, but they could see that, couldn't they? So,
well,
anyways,
I guess they don't really see him. Like,
well, true.
He's in base,
obviously. Soul Stealer has an Ox of the Malphite now, so he actually can finish a similar H, I believe, if you really wanted to. At this point, even, yeah, we're just now coming up to 31 minutes here. Q Squad, they are going to try to hold off a little bit longer, apparently, but yeah, Voodoo Jester, see ya. No chance there. And Q Squad is, again, they're going to try to hold it off. 15 seconds on Resurrection for Silhouette. It is getting to a point, though, where you might... okay, I don't want to say that, actually. I mean, maybe not concede point just yet. You do have a Silhouette who's getting fair farm herself, I guess. And you got that Tempest Ultimate. That Miracle Tempest Ultimate still exists, so...
Yeah, but it's just so hard. And like carry versus carry, yeah, Silhouette, you can say like we can take it to the late game against them because Silhouette will have more of an impact with full items than Soul Stealer, arguably. But there's just much better team fight. And not to mention, you have a level 16 Fade now with the Bound Die, with the Blink. You're just going to get picked off before a fight even begins. And even if a fight begins, you have Keeper of the Forest Ultimate with double ult. So I really see absolutely no way that QsQ can get back in this game. Even if they catch all 5 in Ultimate, I don't even know if they have the damage output to take them all down. Yeah. Take them all out, so it's going to be really hard.
See, cleaning up some jungle stacks as a team right here is Stay Green. So Q Squad trying to take advantage of any bit of little farm they can get in the meantime as a result of the current map positioning and whatnot. So a quick reset here, most likely from Stay Green. You see the similar rage being delivered right there. Just Soul Stealer, another 1,600 plus gold saved up. And actually something else to mention, I don't even know if maybe you did, but nonetheless, Andromeda is obviously, you got to figure out how she's synergizing with the Soul Stealer too. I mean, between the Aurora and the Aura of hers, the Dimensional Link, obviously doing a lot of work for Soul Stealer here, so he's glad to have Andromeda as a teammate, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, what else is there to say, really? It just simply comes down to Q Squad getting that Miracle Tempest Ultimate and having it all come together in a fight, and then doing it a second time after that. That's really all it takes. So, top, and we have Initiation. Never mind, Fade. I thought he might have been opening, but that was just an illusion right there. Now, Fade is going to run right on top of Revelation, but he Portal Keys immediately. He misses the cold, actually, onto Torturer, and he'll fall back, though, before really too much happens. So, a little bit of some misplays coming out right there, but in the end, not really the biggest deal in the world. We do see SG. They are going to group up here at the top side and look to push the tower. So this could possibly be that moment.
God. Symbol of Rage and 2,500. God, my God, he's so farmed.
But it's, yeah, now 662 GPM. Okay, here we go. Soul Stealer jumps. The Pharaoh misses the Wrath of the Pharaoh. Voodoo Jester melts to auto attack. Silhouette finally jumps in. They will maybe get the kill on Luna, but Soul Stealer gets the Soul Burst off, and look at the damage output as expected. Torture goes down. Another hat trick for Slicks. There's the quad kill. Can he get the Annihilation right here? Tempest ports in, and there's the Annihilation. They voted to concede though just before. I'm going to go ahead and give it to him.
Breaky, would you shut up? I can just hear you. I can hear your voice back just going insane right
You're
there.
right. I should have really changed my announcer back for myself. Anyways, obviously
I'm kidding. I love your voice.
That was big right there at the end. But just another clear example of how farm Slicks really was that game.
700 gold per minute.
Yeah, he obviously a little bit skewed there at the end because he got so much, but still,
yeah,
about 700 gold per minute in the end for Slicks there on Soul Stealer. We're only 33 minutes in the game basically when they conceded. It just got too out of hand. So what that means now, Tralf?
Final game.
final game. It is tied at 2 games apiece. This is a best out of 5, so this is it, or will be it after the short break, of course. Any final words before we go into the break, Joe?
Nope, let's just get right to it.
All right, I agree. So a short break here, guys, but coming up, the final and deciding game. Who will win the silver? I don't know what I'm saying. Who will win the diamond? This is not silver. Wouldn't that be weird? Who would win the diamond division grand finals here? Will it be Stay Green or will it be Q Squad? Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Our final game coming up next.